If you struggle with the interview question, tell me about a time you worked under pressure. You're not alone. In this video, you'll learn exactly why interviewers ask it, how to choose the right story, and how to deliver an impressive answer that shows you stay calm and effective when things get stressful. Interviewers ask this question to see how you behave when things are not perfect. Tight deadlines, unexpected problems, demanding clients, or urgent changes. They want to know, can you stay calm? Can you prioritize? Can you still deliver good results when the pressure is on? Underneath the wording, they're really testing a few things: your emotional control under stress, your decision-making and prioritization, your ability to communicate clearly, and whether you can turn a tough situation into a positive outcome. Your story should prove those 4 things, not just describe how stressful it felt. Pick a real example where the stakes were meaningful: a tight deadline, a sudden change, a big mistake to fix, or a demanding customer. Choose a situation where you played a clear role, took specific actions, and can point to a concrete, positive result. Avoid stories that make you look out of control, angry, or like the victim. Skip examples that involve ongoing conflict with a boss, drama with coworkers, or situations where you broke rules or behaved unprofessionally. Also, avoid stories where the pressure was caused purely by your own poor planning with no real redemption. Your story should show growth, responsibility, and control. Structure your answer with STAR. Situation: set the context briefly. Task: explain your responsibility. Action: describe what you did step by step. Result: share the outcome, numbers if possible, and what you learned. STAR keeps your story focused and makes it easy for the interviewer to follow how you handle pressure. For the situation, give just enough context so the interviewer understands why this was high pressure. For example, our team was given a major client project with a deadline moved up by 2 weeks. 1 or 2 sentences are enough, no long backstory. Next, explain your role. What exactly were you responsible for? For example, I was in charge of coordinating the team's tasks and making sure we delivered the final report on time. This shows what part of the pressure belonged to you, not just to people around you. Action is the heart of your answer. Describe what you did, focusing on calm, practical steps. How you assessed the situation, prioritized tasks, communicated with others, and adjusted the plan. Use action verbs like organized, coordinated, negotiated, streamlined, or escalated appropriately. End with clear results. Did you meet the deadline? Satisfy the customer? Reduce errors? If possible, add numbers like time saved, revenue protected, or satisfaction scores. Finish by briefly mentioning what you learned. This shows growth and self-awareness. When you tell your story, emphasize how you slowed things down mentally, even if the situation was fast. Mention how you gathered key information, evaluated options, and chose a plan instead of reacting impulsively. Phrases like "I paused to" or "I quickly assessed" signal calm decision-making. Pressure often means you can't do everything at once. Explain how you decided what mattered most. Maybe you focused on the client-facing part first, or the task that unblocked others. Show that you can weigh urgency versus impact. This tells employers you won't panic, you'll plan. Strong answers also show how you used communication and teamwork. Mention how you updated stakeholders, asked for help where needed, or coordinated tasks across the team. Employers want to know you won't go silent under stress or try to fix everything alone while ignoring the people around you. It's okay to say it was stressful, but don't spend too much time describing your feelings. Focus on what you did and what happened because of your actions. The interviewer remembers measurable results, improved processes, and satisfied customers more than how nervous you were. Here's a complete example for an office or corporate role. Situation: in my previous role as a marketing coordinator, we were preparing a major campaign for a product launch when the client moved the launch date up by 10 days. That meant our entire timeline was suddenly compressed. Task: I was responsible for coordinating deliverables between our design team, copywriters, and the ad agency to make sure everything was ready on time and aligned with the client's brand guidelines. Action. First, I quickly mapped out all remaining tasks and identified which ones were critical for launch and which could be phased in later. I called a short meeting with all stakeholders to explain the new timeline and discuss constraints. Then I created a revised schedule, broke down tasks into smaller pieces, and assigned clear owners and deadlines. I also set up a daily 15-minute check-in to spot risks early and kept the client updated with brief progress emails, so there were no surprises. Result: despite the shortened schedule, we launched on the new date with all key materials ready. The client was impressed with the transparency and said communication was better than on previous projects. The campaign exceeded their initial engagement targets by about 20%. Afterward, my manager asked me to document the process so the team could use a similar approach on future time-sensitive projects. Now, an example for a frontline or customer-facing role. Situation: I was working as a shift lead in a busy coffee shop during the morning rush when one of our espresso machines broke down. At the same time, we had a long line of customers and we were short-staffed because a co-worker called in sick. Task: I was responsible for keeping the line moving, maintaining service quality, and making sure customers didn't leave frustrated. Action: I quickly reassigned roles so our fastest barista handled all espresso drinks on the working machine, while I focused on taking orders and handling payments to speed up the line. I simplified the menu suggestions to drinks that our equipment could handle quickly, and I clearly but calmly explained to customers that one machine was down and thanked them for their patience. I also offered to comp a simple pastry for a few customers who had the longest waits. Once the rush slowed down, I documented the issue and called maintenance so the machine could be fixed before the next peak period. Result: even though we were under pressure, we kept the line moving and no one asked for a refund or left angry. Several customers actually thanked us for keeping them informed. My manager later highlighted that shift in a team meeting as an example of staying calm and organized under pressure. One common mistake is being too vague, saying, "I work well under pressure. I just stay focused," without a real story doesn't prove anything. Interviewers want a specific example with details they can picture. Another mistake is turning your answer into a rant about a difficult manager, coworker, or customer. If your story sounds like complaining or blaming, it suggests you may not handle pressure professionally. Keep your tone neutral and solution-focused. Also avoid ending your story without a clear outcome. If you don't share a result, the interviewer can't tell whether your actions actually worked. Always close with what changed, what improved, or what you learned. To answer, tell me about a time you worked under pressure. Choose a strong example, structure it with STAR, show calm decision-making, prioritization, communication, and finish with results and learning. If you do that, this tough question becomes an opportunity to stand out. Take 10 to 15 minutes after this video to write out 1 or 2 pressure stories from your experience using STAR. Practice saying them out loud until they feel natural and confident. When this question comes up in your next interview, you'll be ready.